Hello everyone, welcome back to Bat Chat. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxter.
And today we're talking about the strange secret of Bruce Wayne, Steve, which I guess we'll have to watch the episode to find out what the strange secret is, because Bruce Wayne seems like just a regular kind of guy to me. I don't know what sort of secrets he could possibly be harboring, Steve.
I have no idea. Like, he's such a straightforward businessman. He's got no shady morals whatsoever.
And he looks good in a suit.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, so today we're talking about I guess this is the first Doctor Strange episode.
Yes, I think this is the first episode with Hugo Strange in it, and it's based on the first Hugo Strange story in like 50 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about some of that, because it's based on one of my favorite comics.
Cool. Awesome. Well, anyway, everybody, we're going to watch the episode and talk about it. So if you want to watch it with us, because, of course, we can't just show you the episode because that would be copyright infringement, you'll have to bring up your Amazon Prime or your DVDs, however you want to watch it, get it to this episode, Strange Case of Bruce Wayne, and get it past the menus and everything, get it timestamp 0, or you can just listen to us prattle on while we watch this. We'll try to provide as much context as we can if you're just going to listen to it as a podcast. Steve, you ready to get going?
Yep, I'm all set.
All right, let's start watching. Everybody, please press play right now.
Okay. So how much do you like Hugo Strange? Is he one of your favorite Batman villains or no?
Hugo Strange was a character that I was almost not familiar with at all, besides his couple appearances in this show until Arkham City.
Oh, okay.
So I love him there. That's most of my exposure to that character.
Okay. It's funny because Hugo Strange is one of those characters that got wrapped up in the Bat embargo because Justice League Unlimited was supposed to have a big, massive plot for him, but they weren't allowed to use him. And then we never got the film, which is dumb. Except until we get to Gotham, at least, because he's going to be there. But Hugo Strange has one appearance really, really early on in the first year of Batman. Then he dies and disappears for a little while. Then he comes back and has another appearance. Then he dies for like 50 years and doesn't show up again until Detective 471 and 472 by Steve Englehart, which is what this episode's based on. Then he dies for like 20 years, and we don't see him again until Batman Prey. And then he dies for like 5 years, and we don't see him again until Terror. And then we get the Matt Wagner stuff. Wow,
this guy dies a lot.
Yeah, he's got the Joker thing, early Joker thing, of he dies every time he shows up. But he's fun because he gets reinvented every time he shows up because there's always a massive gap between appearances.
I wonder how often Batman has that line where he's like, I'm sure he'll be back someday, even though I can't imagine how he possibly could have survived. And it's hard for me not to watch this scene and go, the Shadow knows.
It's very much that kind of a scene, yeah. So the comic in question that it's based on, the basic idea is that Hugo Strange just deduces to Bruce Wayne's Batman. And he doesn't sneak him into any sort of like weird machine or anything. All he does is that he makes this weird spa place for rich people. And Bruce Wayne happens to check in. And from that point on, he realizes Bruce Wayne's Batman, and he just keeps him locked up there and starts dressing up as Batman.
Yeah. And I forget, doesn't this show do the Hugo Strange dresses as Batman thing eventually? Or does it?
I don't think so.
Okay. That was a thing I knew about, but maybe I've just seen pictures of that comic, because I know I've never read that.
Yeah, Hugo Strange dressed up as Batman a couple of times in the comics. As far as the show goes, I don't think he does it here. Because he doesn't have the right build. Like, the whole thing with Hugo Strange is that Batman makes his body into physical perfection through exercise and mental training and all that stuff. And Hugo Strange does the same thing, but he's not as genetically gifted as Batman, so he still looks kind of deformed, and that's his whole problem against him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating contrast, because he's so obsessed with Batman's psychology, because that's the only thing he's got one up on with Batman, which is his mind.
And this episode plays him a lot more like a generic mad scientist.
A little bit, yeah. Which is kind of a shame, because he's one of the most interesting Batman villains.
But I like that they chose him because his look fits really well into this Fleischer Superman look.
Oh yeah, totally. He's
where like he looks like one of those mad scientists that could have been in that show.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why they went for the choice to just have him be a mechanical genius as opposed to yeah, and I mean I guess he's interested in psychology, but he also built that machine, so.
Yeah, he's more of like a technical guy than he is therapist or anything like that. Yeah, which is fine for the show. I think they did a good enough job with it. It's a really fun episode, even though there's not a lot to it. But it would have been great to like maybe get like the New Adventures of Batman or something where he evolves and gets a little bit more done.
Yeah. Well, maybe they weren't allowed to use him even at that point.
That's true. Like I'm not sure when Hugo Strange exactly was taken off.
Oh, although you said that it was even later than that they were gonna do a whole thing with him. So
yeah, they were gonna do a whole thing in Justice League Unlimited, and he had a massive story through the Batman for like a couple seasons, and he was one of the best parts of that show.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch that.
No one gives it enough credit. It's such a good show. There's an entire episode which is basically a remake of Heart of Steel, and it's 100 times better.
Oh, look, Steve, the Batwing just showed up to drop off to Batman some sort of gadget that he's going to now conveniently have to use constantly as he goes throughout the city. Oh.
I like that Robin's thrown into this one, though.
And I like that Batman and Robin just have all of this, like, random banter where they're just, like, really happy-go-lucky with each other all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's always fun.
What is it with vacation spas in this season? Like,
they're all Thunderball. That's what it is. Every single episode is Thunderball.
The Eternal Youth Spa.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange.
Aha! I see what you did there.
I wasn't even thinking of it that way. But
sorry, Alfred. That's a dumb idea. He's like, I'm gonna lay out your evening clothes. No, don't lay them out.
What if someone's looking through the window or something?
Yeah, what if the cleaning lady shows up and is trying to clean your room and sees your bat suit?
They'll just ignore it. The thing with Englehart's comic when he wrote this arc is that everything is a self-contained story, but there's still kind of a small momentum through each issue. So Batman gets like physically exhausted to a point where he needs to go to a health spa when he meets Hugo Strange. And I know this series doesn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to adapt some of the context around that particular story. Like he just fought Dr. Phosphorus again for the first time. I think Deadshot is about to show up around this point. And that's when he gets his really cool costume in the 70s.
But yeah, I do buy that this particular Batman, the only time he'd ever go on vacation would be to do detective work and be undercover.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is an odd way to do exposition, Steve. Basically, what we have here, and I always, by the way, like all the nightmare imagery in the show.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a weird way to do exposition because we need to know that Hugo Strange is able to see things in his mind. But the way we're doing that so the audience can see what he's seeing, and of course it's like super ultra dramatized, the way and really selective too.
Yeah.
The way he is seeing it is on this giant screen that Bruce doesn't see just because he's turned around the other way. I think that's hilarious. Like Bruce is in this room the whole time, and he doesn't know that sorry, this shot is really pretty.
Oh yeah.
Right. But
it also opens up the issue though of Hugo Strange doesn't have any facts to base this on. He's just making interpretations out of random imagery.
It's a really good point. That well, I guess the only way that it wouldn't be true is if he was a crazy person.
That's true. I mean, but he could still be financing Batman. Like that could be the whole meaning behind all that. Like, he doesn't know for a fact that Bruce Wayne's Batman. He just associates with him.
He doesn't try to corroborate it in any kind of way. I also think it's that his machine is amazing, right? Yeah. Like he can pull information, he can pull things your mind sees and put it on screen, but it also comes with sound. It's amazing.
Yeah, sound, music, atmosphere, it's got the whole package.
how do you know that's how bats really sound? Maybe that's just how Bruce Wayne makes bats sound. So Joker has the single best answer machine message ever.
Yes, it's fantastic.
And I love how Bruce Timm and his team in the show get around censors and stuff they're not allowed to do, where that's one of those times that you get the sense, yes, Joker does just straight up mutilate people. If we do it off, and what's great about that is because if you're not watching, you hear an answer machine message where somebody's screaming, and he says leave a message after the scream, which is fantastic. and if like you can interpret that two different ways. Probably what happened was he really did kill a guy, but he also might not have.
Yeah, he could just play a sound effect.
He could have had an actor, or he could have just gotten the sound effect. Yeah, he could have hired a henchman just to do that job. And the way Joker's humor works, Steve, is he would have the guy who record that not lay a finger on him, and then after the recording was over, that's when he stabs him. That's the Joker's sense of humor. That's what he would do.
Oh, that would have been fantastic. So even though the video machine is really ridiculous, I do like this idea of Hugo Strange blackmailing people with their repressed memories.
Oh yeah,
like that's really fascinating. You could do a whole Shadow-esque story with that.
Well, I hadn't thought of that's intriguing. Is it repressed memories, or is it just things they've been hiding?
Probably a little bit both. Like, it's probably things they're hiding and details about them they wish they could forget.
But are we told that Vargas doesn't know about this? She does. She's guilty about it. So it's not repression.
Right. Okay.
It's just things you've been hiding. I mean, that would be more interesting if it was actually repressed memories. But I don't think it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're maybe right. Because then you could do the whole Batman Forever thing, where Bruce Wayne is purposely forgetting things about his parents' death.
Yeah, and I can't help but think about Batman Forever through this whole episode.
Yeah, it's got very much that kind of style.
Well, and the machine is very similar to the Riddler's machine in that.
Yeah. Except
that he doesn't get smarter. Hugo Strange doesn't get smarter when he uses it, or maybe he does, and we just don't know it.
Yeah. I think this is also the first time we see like multiple Batman villains in one place in this show, because we haven't gotten to Almost Got Him yet.
Yeah, now there are a few that do it after this.
Yeah.
When you get to the trial episode.
Oh yeah, that's coming up soon.
Well, actually, I think that episode's just called Trial, isn't it? Now that I think about it. So, would you believe, Steve, that the Tick did this very episode?
Did he? Did they?
Yes, there's a episode in season 2 called Coach Fussel's Lament, and in that episode, Brainchild turns the Tick into a French-speaking double-headed bird, and tries to auction him to the Tick's Rogues Gallery.
That's hilarious.
And invites Chairface Chippendale and Pineapple Polkapot, pretty much every villain we'd seen in the show thus far. A lot of them anyway. And it's very similar to this.
That's awesome. I really need to sit down and watch more of that show because it sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And it's disturbing. The Tick lays an egg. And then when he turns into the Tick again at the end, he eats it.
He just ate his own child. That's disturbing.
Yes, and decides that it tastes like chocolate.
That's amazing. Why hasn't Grant Morrison written the Tick? It seems like so much it's up his ass.
He should.
That's totally a Grant Morrison Doom Patrol kind of thing to do.
Yeah. But what should freak you out more than anything is that wasn't in the comics. That was on Fox. That was on the same network that had this.
I don't know how you get away with that and you can't do more dark stuff here.
I have had some requests to do commentaries on that show, and I think I'm going to.
Oh, you should. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, though, because I think some Batman episodes kind of get tickish when they come to the story. Like, when we get to Tiger, that's really a weird tick kind of plot. Where Catwoman just gets turned into a big cat.
It's out there.
That's still the worst episode of the series.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I really like that we get a lot more Bruce Wayne action in this episode. Like, he's not in costume for most of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's kind of neat in an episode with so much of his rogues gallery.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, this is when he's most in danger. And it does my thing, my favorite thing. Bruce Wayne and Batman aren't two separate people as much as they're just the same person. And sometimes the Batman, the vengeance thing seeps in a bit too much.
Yeah, and I think that as this continuity goes on, they start to kind of change that a little bit, right?
Yeah, like in this universe, it's very much they're two separate people. That goes all the way through to Justice League, really, although we don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne in Justice League.
Yeah, but like in an episode like this, I sort of feel like they're not as separate as he likes to pretend like they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it all goes back to the origin thing it's kind of like what I said when I did that Gothic video, where Bruce Wayne, just because Bruce Wayne doesn't ever want to lose someone ever again, doesn't mean that he doesn't still have the regret. So Batman still manifests it in some way. Like, they're still the same person. They still have the same faults.
Yeah. Somebody explain to me why these villains believe Hugo Strange.
It's a really good question. He doesn't have any credit yet.
No, no credibility whatsoever. I would have. I mean, like, they're bidding millions of dollars, and I really expected, especially Two-Face. Yeah. I really expected one of them to immediately be like, "Wait a minute, how do we know that that's really what's on that tape?" Like, shouldn't he show the tape and then they would bid on it, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, even if he shows the tape, I bet they have to wonder, like, maybe you just edited all this footage together of some guy in a Batman costume. How do we know that's real?
It's actually a really good point, because in order to prove to any, like what they're bidding on is a thing they might not even be able to use with any credibility. Like billions of dollars, and then they try to show it to the world, and people are just like, okay, well, like, you're saying Bruce Wayne is Batman, but you're not. This is not a smoking gun. You didn't have a tape recorder. You didn't have a video camera in the Batcave seeing Bruce Wayne put on a mask. What you're seeing are the dreams or inner thoughts, supposedly, of a person.
Yeah. You're just interpreting events. You have no idea what they actually mean.
You know, my question is, what are we watching right now? Like when he puts that tape in, did Batman think that and then get it on the tape? Is that how he did it?
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre.
Because that wasn't, as far as I know, something that he would have actually done and said, because that's not what happened.
And if he could make his thoughts manifest on tape, he could have just hidden the Batman thing in the first place.
Well, and I wondered that too. Well, except that he doesn't realize what's going on when he's hooked up to the the machine. Like, he doesn't realize in the first place that he is taking his thoughts out of his mind and putting them on a screen.
That's true. But no, it's still a good question of where the other tape comes from.
Well, he does hook himself back up to that machine. I'm assuming that's what it is, but and I guess the idea is just that Batman is that mentally disciplined. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
This is another one of those episodes, we're always walking that line between a kid's show and, smart Batman thing, that we, not to say that kid shows can't be smart, but you know what I mean, that, just for kids cartoon versus an animated series, Junior Air Commando. I love that he just got that out of a cereal box. That's fantastic. That's awesome. But you've got this, walking that line, you've got that thing in this episode where we kind of bring up more ideas than we're really exploring them. So, like, psychology of Batman is really interesting, and there's some stuff that's inherently there. But once you look at Hugo Strange and other things, this is a really fascinating character that he's kind of just a silly two-dimensional mad scientist in this.
Yeah, I mean, the animated series has got a lot of that. Like, it's a great show, but there's so many villains that it just barely scratches the surface of. And other shows do get them done really, really well. Like, Arkham City is great for Hugo Strange, except for the whole Ra's al Ghul thing at the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing that always ruined that game for me, is Ra's al Ghul. Which is sad, because I love that villain.
But Hugo Strange is just scary in that.
Oh yeah, he's terrifying. And that, if you buy the Arkham City soundtrack, which I really love, there's that opening Panic at the Disco song called Mercenary, where Hugo Strange does talk during the middle of the song. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, remember, that came out of the game.
Yeah, it did. It's awesome. And if you listen to it play on the radio, they keep that portion in.
That's really cool.
So you could just be in a store and suddenly some weird, creepy guy is talking about dead parents.
And Batman's costume!
Right? Yeah, it's awesome. It's just
or does that costume help to bury your feelings? I was a little disappointed that Arkham Knight didn't have a soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, me too. Especially with some of the same bands, it would have been nice.
I mean, sometimes games are as big or bigger releases than movies these days, man. I mean, like that blew my mind when we had a music inspired by album for a video game. Boosh.
Police Blimp, gotta love those.
Wow, those get around, Steve.
They're so far outside city limits, aren't they?
Yeah. That thing must have a rocket pack in the back of it.
I really like Hugo Strange's voice actor. I guess that's the only other thing I wanted to mention. He's played by Ray. What's his name?
Oh, he does come right out and say that he imagined the lines. So that is what happens.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
But I'm sorry, Sam.
Sorry, I was just mentioning the voice actor. I forget what his name is off the top of my head. Ray something.
It keeps reminding me of something that I have heard recently, and I can't remember what. I wanted to make a joke about it, but I can't think. Oh, you know what it is? It's a Gru from Despicable Me.
Oh, is that who that is?
No, but it sounds just like him, is what I'm saying. Like, it sounds just like him.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think that's probably who that. We'd have to look it up, but
I'm on the Wikipedia right now. It's Ray Batenki.
Yeah, I don't know if that's who plays that. So we set up Robin just so he could pretend to be Bruce Wayne at the end.
Which is I think they do that in the comic, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Wouldn't it have been easier if he had pretended to be Batman?
That would have made it 10 times easier, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe it was just a matter of, like, where Batman was to that point, and, like, switching out. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, it seems like it's a lot harder to pretend to be a person with a face, and like a regular person. So,
and I guess we were remiss to go through this episode and not mention this. If you enjoyed this episode, and you enjoy this show, you should go thank Steve Englehart, because he is directly responsible for every single thing that happens in Batman's history post-1970, or so he claims.
Yeah, but at least this one really is based on one of his stories.
Yeah, for like 2 scenes.
Oh, okay.
I just like talking about the story, but it's like 2 scenes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is a really fun one. I get distracted because it's weird to me that it also has, like I said, that same bidding plot that Tick episode has. So I just get really distracted by that.
Yeah, but no, it's enjoyable. It's definitely one that I watched a lot as a kid.
We didn't talk about some of the thematic ideas in that, but the notion that Bruce Wayne becomes Batman because of revenge and he wants vengeance is a consistent thing from the earliest episodes of the show, and is a thing that we should have brought up because it's interesting how that has changed in different continuities, and how we make a really big deal in Batman Begins that vengeance and justice are not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a line that goes as far back as nothing to fear at the very end, when Bruce says, "I am vengeance, I am the night."
Yeah.
I've always been one of the few people who never liked that line because I don't think Batman's supposed to be vengeance. But he grows out of that throughout the whole DC animated universe. Especially when you get to Justice League a little bit later, and people start calling him on it.
Yeah, so there is maybe a little bit of a progression to it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wondered if he really saw himself as vengeance, or if that wasn't kind of the place it started from, and it's more of the perception that he's trying to build. Because when he has speeches like that, he'd be talking to another person, but I guess in that particular case, it was more him like trying to get out of a fear trance. So
yeah, like it was him trying to psych himself.
Maybe that's why you don't like that line.
Maybe so. I just don't like it when writers take it too literally, because I think Batman's not supposed to be about vengeance. But you're right, that everything after this tries to talk about that to some degree. Like Batman Begins does it. Beware the Batman does it quite a bit. The Batman's too cartoony, so it wasn't really able to talk too much about that, because that one was more like Errol Flynn Batman. And what's it called? Brave and the Bold does that a little bit when he has the whole Hammers of Justice thing throughout the show.
Oh yeah, good call. And then that speech you were talking about, the "I am vengeance, I am the night" speech. They brought that back because they used freaking everything, and they brought that back in Arkham Knight.
Oh yeah, they did. You're right.
And the line delivery was a little strange, but
yeah, I mean, I think that partly that's just Kevin Conroy showing his age now. Like, there's so many moments in that game where I feel like his voice has kind of lost it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't want to end on that note, but thanks so much for watching. We sure appreciate it, and we'll see you again next week, where we'll be doing the 2-part episode with Hardak.
Yep, Heart of Steel.
Heart of Steel. Thank you. I couldn't think. All I had in my mind was Heart of Ice, and I went, "Why do you have two Heart of names in your show?" Anyway, we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxter.
See you later.